Have you ever wondered what actually happened to every single number one draft pick from 2010 to 2019? Well, you're about to find out. David Swallow was the first player drafted in 2010, and also the Gold Coast Suns' first ever member, as they entered the AFL in 2011. In his debut season, Swallow averaged 17 disposals and 4 tackles a game, in a side that only won 3 games and finished as wooden spooners. Pretty good if you ask me. 2014 was Swallow's breakout year, with 20 disposals and 5 tackles a game, helping the Suns make it all the way to 12th on the ladder at season's end. He won the Suns' best and fairest that year as a result. Then, in 2019, he was named Gold Coast co-captain. But since then, he's kinda struggled, never reaching that same form again. 2022 and 23 were some of his best years, but in 2024, he's not doing too well, with only 9 disposals a game for a player of his caliber. Multiple serious knee injuries across his career have definitely been a factor in his decline. 18-year-old 198cm key forward Jonathan Patton looked likely to be one of the AFL's great goal kickers, but when the GWS Giants drafted him with their first pick, he had pre-existing knee injuries, and the Giants knew that. Sadly, during the preseason, he re-injured his left knee badly, and was forced to fly over to Sweden to get it treated. That meant Patton missed the first 11 rounds of the 2012 season. He debuted against Richmond in round 12, gathering 7 disposals and kicking 1 goal. One of only 4 he'd kicked that entire season. In 2013, Patton only kicked 5 goals across 4 games. Then, like Swallow, 2014 was also the Giants' breakout year. 25 goals and 19 matches. He reached new heights in 2016 with 38 goals, as GWS made the top 8 for the first time ever. But a devastating ACL injury in 2018 after a tear in 2013 saw him move to the Hawks, where injuries only allowed him to play 6 games, averaging half a goal in each. Patton retired at the end of 2020 with 95 games and 133 goals to his name. The GWS Giants were handed another number one draft pick in 2012, and this time it landed them Lachie Whitfield. Whitfield quickly became renowned for his hard running off halfback, always seeming to cover the most ground every game. He's been very consistent across his career, averaging 20 plus disposals almost every season he's played. However, in 2016, the young Giants' career was on thin ice after receiving a 6-month ban for deliberately evading an illegal substances test. Thankfully, in 2018, Whitfield was back to his best, and in a career best year, he had 28 disposals a game along with 6 goals. This saw him make his first All-Australian appearance. 1 year later, he helped the Giants make it all the way to the 2019 Grand Final, with another superb year. And so far in 2024, it's looking like this season might be his best yet. For the 3rd year in a row, the number 1 selection in the 2013 draft went to the Giants. They used it to pick up 2-metre tall key forward Tom Boyd, who'd average a goal a game for them in his first season in 2014, before GWS traded him to the Western Bulldogs. In 2015 and 16, he had very similar stats, but it was in the 2016 final series where he'd really shine, more specifically, the Grand Final. In a breakout performance, Boyd was one of the best on ground in the Dogs' 2016 premiership, kicking 3 important goals, all at crucial moments in the game. So no one expected that Boyd would only play 2 more seasons with the club. After not averaging more than a goal a game in 2017 and 18, he called it quits after only 61 games of footy. Boyd later confirmed that he retired because of mental health issues. Finally, 2014 was the first draft in a long time where GWS didn't get top of the pecking order. Instead, it was the Saints, who picked up tough, courageous key forward Paddy McCartan with pick number 1. He was compared to the likes of a young Jared Roughhead, but McCartan's first season didn't go to plan, only playing 6 games as Nick Riewoldt kept him out of the side. After his first 5 seasons, McCartan only had 35 matches to his name. Then in 2016, he got concussed 3 times, adding to the 2 concussions he'd experienced previously. After his 8th concussion in a 2019 JLT Community Series match against the Bulldogs, McCartan was eventually delisted by the Saints at season's end. But Sydney gave him one final lifeline, and he took it, featuring in 28 games for them and the 2022 Grand Final in a more defensive role. But his 9th concussion in 2023 saw the end of his short 63-game career. Jacob Wiedering, Carlton's first pick in 2015, has been a very consistent and reliable fullback in his 160-plus game career with the Blues. In 2020, he held a mediocre Blues backline together, earning himself the club's best and fairest that year. A year later, he was robbed of a 2021 All-Australian team selection after a career-best season. But funnily enough, the Blues snagged Charlie Curnow and Harry Mackay with their 10th and 12th picks in that draft, who turned out to be arguably better players, with Mackay winning the Coleman Medal in 2021 and Charlie Curnow doing the same back-to-back in 2022 and 23. Essendon's top pick in the 2016 draft netted them speedy midfielder Andrew McGrath. McGrath was sensational in his first year, picking up the NAB Rising Star Award. Although he's never won Essendon's best and fairest, McGrath's 2019 and 2023 seasons were unreal, regularly gathering over 20 disposals a game. In 2023, Brad Scott transitioned him into a defensive role, and it worked wonders. With the Bombers looking likely to make finals this year, McGrath will be a really crucial element in whether the Bombers can break their 9,000-day streak without a finals win or not. When Brisbane first picked up Cam Rayner, the number 1 draft pick played mostly in the forward line, but since then, Rayner's become one of the Lions' best midfielders, gradually improving season after season, both in his stats and impact. However, his poor 11 disposal performance in the 2023 Grand Final was a major setback, showing that consistency is still a major issue in his game. Sam Walsh was easily the number 1 prospect in his 2018 draft class, and after his first season, it still seemed that way. The hard-running Blues midfielder was a rising star winner. 25 disposals a game is nearly unheard of in a player's first season, but the next year in 2019, he didn't perform nearly as well. Luckily for Carlton, 2021 was his year, averaging 30 disposals and 5 tackles per match. Walsh nearly took out the Brownlow, polling 30 votes and unexpectedly finishing 4th. No player burst out of the gates quite like 2019 number 1 pick Matt Rowell. Thanks to 3 3-vote performances in his first 3 games, Rowell led the Suns to a 3-1 start in 2020. They'd then gone to only win 2 out of their next 14 games. Nevertheless, Rowell has been an absolute tackling machine, averaging an elite 9 tackles per game in 2023. Although he only played 5 games in his debut season because of a shoulder injury, he's now a regular in the team every single week. Subscribe.